Come on in.
We don't have a choice. We're making the best of what we got. So,
Get it how you live, baby.
get it how you live, baby.
Get it how you live.
This is Teresa Adams Pugh, a 54-year-old mother of 4 and grandmother to 17 beautiful souls, a fashion-forward vlogger who lit up every room she walked into with her infectious smile and vibrant energy. On March 22, 2025, in the quiet suburban neighborhood of Garner, North Carolina, Teresa and her husband of over 2 decades would both be found dead inside their home following a 4-hour standoff with law enforcement. Nobody, not her mother, her 4 children, her 17 grandchildren, and even the neighbors who lived right next door, saw this coming. But before we get to that bone-chilling moment that changed everything, let me take you back to where this seemingly perfect love story began, because the most dangerous relationships are the ones that look absolutely flawless from the outside.
Pulling out.
Yep, we're pulling out today. Where we about to go?
Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, we're gonna ride down to Myrtle Beach. We're gonna get to a mall before the day is over, right?
For sure.
For sure.
Browsing, just browsing.
We're gonna do more than browsing, y'all. I don't wanna hear no browsing mess. Ain't that right, females? We don't wanna hear no browsing mess. We're gonna shop.
Message from Corey.
They might browse, but we're gonna shop. You feel me? If you feel me, like this video. So you wanna say something to the fellas?
Hey, y'all know how it go. I'm just talking. I'm the laborer.
He know what it is. He know what time it is. But anywho, y'all have a great day. We'll probably check in with y'all later. Deuces.
Teresa Renee Adams Pugh was born on June 29, 1970, in Moore County, North Carolina, into a loving family that prioritized faith, community values, and unwavering support for one another. Her parents, Mary and Shaw, who sometimes went by Joyce Shaw and William Thomas, raised her in an environment that emphasized the importance of church, family gatherings, and treating others with kindness and respect. From her earliest years, Teresa demonstrated a natural charisma and warmth that would become her defining characteristic throughout her entire life. After graduating, Teresa became a lifelong member of St. Anna Free Will Baptist Church. She served as church secretary and participated actively in Choir No. 2. Professionally, Teresa built an impressive career over multiple decades, working for many years as a manager at ARS, which is believed to be American Residential Services. In this home services company, she demonstrated exceptional leadership skills and a natural ability to manage teams effectively. After dedicating years to that position, she decided to retire, looking forward to spending more time with her growing family and pursuing personal interests that had taken a back seat during her busy working years. However, retirement didn't suit Teresa's energetic personality for long, and she recently returned to the workforce at UPS. She was a self-described fashionista with an incredible eye for style, a deep love for experimenting with hair and makeup techniques, and an enthusiasm for interior design, especially when it came to decorating for Christmas, transforming her home into a winter wonderland. Teresa took her passion to the digital world, creating a YouTube channel called Teresa Renee Living with Intention, where she shared fashion content, beauty tips, family life glimpses, and personal reflections with women over 50 who were looking for inspiration, guidance, and proof that style and elegance don't have an expiration date. Her channel wasn't filled with millions of subscribers or viral videos, but it had an engaged audience in the fashion and lifestyle niche for women over 50, viewers who genuinely connected with her authentic personality and appreciated her down-to-earth approach to beauty. Now, let's talk about the man who would become the center of Teresa's world for over 20 years, Christopher Pugh, a 53-year-old who, according to everyone who knew him, was the definition of a devoted husband, a hardworking provider, and a gentle soul who never raised his voice. Christopher, who went by Chris, was a Sanderson High School graduate who attended Livingston College, building a foundation of knowledge that would serve him well in the challenging construction industry. he established himself as a licensed general contractor, eventually founding his own company called CBP Enterprises LLC, a custom home building firm that focused on creating quality residences for families throughout North Carolina and beyond. But Christopher wasn't just about making money or building houses. He genuinely cared about giving back to his community in meaningful ways that would create lasting change. He founded the Pug Builder Academy, an innovative training program that provided construction skills education to veterans, retirees, and entrepreneurs across North Carolina, Tennessee, and South Carolina, helping people from all walks of life learn valuable trades that could transform their financial futures. Christopher was particularly passionate about affordable housing issues, expressing frustrations on social media about the housing shortage crisis, specifically noting that the United States needed approximately 7.3 million additional housing units to meet the overwhelming demand that was leaving countless families without adequate shelter.
Like that, I don't know where we're going.
Oh, that was funny.
Today we're flying private, baby.
Flying private, baby. Yeah, yeah.
You're not playing.
Yeah.
Through him, all things.
The couple had been married for over 20 years, residing at 10 Cheney Drive in the Spring Creek Estates neighborhood. From the outside looking in, their relationship appeared absolutely idyllic, the kind of marriage that other couples envied and aspired to emulate in their own lives. Social media posts showed them embracing warmly, barbecuing together in their backyard, celebrating the achievements of their grandchildren with genuine pride, with Teresa frequently posting loving messages praising Christopher for being an exceptional husband and provider who never failed to support his family. On the evening of March 22, 2025, something went terribly, catastrophically wrong inside the home at 10 Cheney Drive in Garner, North Carolina. Following standard emergency protocol for hang-up calls that could indicate someone in distress who couldn't speak freely, dispatchers immediately called the number back. When someone finally answered the return call, it was Christopher Pugh's voice on the line, and he was adamant, almost aggressively insistent, that he had not placed any call to 911. But then, while Christopher was on the line with dispatchers, a woman's voice could be heard in the background. Deputies were immediately dispatched to the residence with sirens wailing and lights flashing, and when they arrived at approximately 7 o'clock in the evening, establishing a perimeter around the property and preparing to make contact with whoever was inside, they heard something that made their worst fears materialize into horrifying reality: a single gunshot echoing from inside the home. The situation immediately escalated from a domestic disturbance call to a potential active shooter scenario, prompting deputies to instruct neighbors through doorbell cameras and direct contact to either evacuate their homes immediately or stay far away from the area until the volatile situation could be resolved safely without additional casualties. What followed was a 4-hour standoff that stretched from 7 o'clock in the evening until approximately 11 o'clock at night, during which time law enforcement officers used bullhorns to call out to the residents every 5 to 10 minutes, identifying themselves as sheriff's deputies and urgently pleading with anyone inside to come out with their hands clearly visible above their heads. At some point during the agonizing standoff, dispatchers called the residents again, and Christopher answered once more, this time agreeing to come outside and speak with officers. But Christopher Pugh never emerged from the house. As the hours ticked by with excruciating slowness, law enforcement officials faced a legal dilemma that probably felt cruel under the circumstances. Under North Carolina law, they needed to obtain a search warrant before entering the home without explicit consent from the residents, even though they had heard a woman begging for help, even though they had heard a gunshot. Finally, at approximately 11 o'clock at night, after securing the necessary legal documentation, deputies entered the residence. But what they discovered inside that house confirmed their darkest fears and added 2 more names to the tragic statistics of domestic violence in America. Both Christopher Pugh, aged 53, and Teresa Adams Pugh, aged 54, were found deceased inside their home from gunshot wounds.
Police identified the married couple in a murder-suicide in Johnston County. This is Christopher Pugh and Teresa Adams Pugh. They were found inside their home Saturday night with 911 calls causing a SWAT response. WRAL's Carly Haynes is live outside of that Garner home after speaking with family and neighbors there. Shocking all around. Very sad story, Carly.
And they still can't wrap their head around it, Dan. They say the woman in this case was a mother, she was a grandmother, and she lost her son in 2020. We asked family members more about this couple's relationship, and they say they saw no red flags. A Johnston County home, known for hosting holidays and get-togethers, sits empty.
Engaging with her family, especially her children and grandchildren, is what I will remember her for the most.
Josette Battle Goings is missing her cousin, Teresa Adams Pugh, found with her husband, Chris Pugh, in their home Saturday. A murder-suicide investigation.
No signs, but you never really know from the outside looking in what's going on. And who knows, he might have, just had an out-of-body experience at that time where he could not pump the brakes on his anger if they were arguing.
It started with a 911 call from inside this home. It disconnected. 911 called back and asked if there's an emergency. A man answered and said no. A woman's voice heard in the background saying, "Why do you want to kill me? I need help." Deputies arrived and a SWAT response began, one that neighbors say lasted hours.
Every 5-10 minutes they would blow the blowhorn and announce, their names, specifically by name, and asking them to come out if they could with their hands up. When there was no activity, it's like, this isn't good.
An evening of commotion ending in quiet, with neighbors and family wondering what went on behind closed doors. And deputies couldn't actually enter the home until they got a warrant, and that has family members questioning the timeline of just how long it took them before they were able to get inside. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, live in Johnston County.
The Johnston County Sheriff's Office officially classified the incident as a murder-suicide on March 24, 2025, determining that Christopher had shot Teresa before turning the weapon on himself, ending both of their lives in a matter of moments and leaving behind a devastated family struggling to comprehend how something so unthinkable could have happened to 2 people they loved so deeply. Marion Shaw, Teresa's mother, struggled to process the incomprehensible reality that her oldest daughter was gone forever, taken from this world in the most violent and unexpected way imaginable. In interviews with local media, Marion's words revealed a marriage that appeared absolutely perfect from every angle the family could observe. She emphasized repeatedly that there were absolutely no signs of domestic abuse throughout their entire 20-plus-year marriage, no raised voices during family gatherings, tension that anyone could detect, or red flags that might have prompted intervention or concern from relatives who saw them regularly.
Loved ones of the victims are still struggling to understand how something like this could have happened. They say the couple was married for over 20 years, and there was never any signs of domestic abuse. They even told me they didn't know a was in the home.
Total surprise.
Unexpected.
He adored her. Whatever Renee wanted, Chris would give it to her.
Marion Shaw is still coming to grips with the fact that she'll never see her oldest daughter, Teresa Adams Pugh, again. The family called her Ree.
Fun-loving, the life of our family party.
Marion says her daughter had 4 children and 15 grandchildren. They say Teresa was proud that her granddaughter Denia was heading to North Carolina A&T this fall.
She just wanted us to be the best we could be, like you could tell.
The Johnston County Sheriff's Office says around 6:45 Saturday afternoon, their dispatch center received a call from 10 Cheney Drive in Garner. Investigators say the caller said nothing before hanging up, which prompted 911 communications to call the number back. That's when the sheriff's office says a man answered the phone saying he did not call 911. The dispatch overheard a woman in the background saying, "Why do you want to kill me? I need help." When deputies arrived, they heard a shot inside the home. 911 communications called the number back, and the man told them he would come outside to speak with officers. But when he didn't, negotiators tried to convince him to come outside. They ultimately had to obtain a search warrant to enter the home. And that's when they found 53-year-old Chris Pugh and his wife, 54-year-old Teresa Adams Pugh, a couple who loved ones say had been married for more than 20 years. The Johnston County Sheriff's Office is investigating this tragedy as a suicide. And loved ones say they saw no signs of domestic abuse.
You would never, like my papa he never yelled at us or like there's no way you would suspect it. Like, he never yelled at us, whooped us, none of that.
He wasn't violent at all.
You can't even say you seen him mad because I could count on my hand how many times
like
he
they
was mad
fussed in front of us. Like
none of that.
Neighbors who didn't want to be identified say during the standoff, officers were asking residents to either evacuate or not come home.
I pulled up my Ring doorbell and an officer was approaching, just telling me, please do not come home. He wouldn't tell me what was going on, but just said, just don't come home and I will let you know when it is safe to come home.
And like loved ones of the victims, this homeowner was also in shock after learning what happened to her neighbors.
They kept to themselves, but very friendly, supportive with my son would have a lemonade stand and they would come support.
And now this family is left with questions as they are forced to grieve the loss of 2 lives forever.
Chris was a good man. I'm not going to say, but he just did the wrong thing.
And the family of Teresa Adams Pugh plans to lay her to rest this Saturday. They're making funeral arrangements right now. We're in Garner. Akila Davis, ABC 11 Eyewitness News.
The family didn't even know that a gun was present in the home. How could Christopher have obtained a firearm without anyone in the family being aware of it? And why would he feel the need to bring a deadly weapon into their home if everything was truly as harmonious as it appeared to be on the surface? Teresa's granddaughter, Denia Adams Smith, who was among the 17 grandchildren who adored their grandmother, shared heartbreaking memories with news outlets, describing a grandfather who was gentle, kind, and completely nonviolent in every interaction with his family members. She recalled that Christopher never yelled at the children, never raised a hand to discipline them, and rarely even showed anger. She could count on one hand the number of times she had seen him visibly upset about anything throughout her entire life. Cousin Josette Battle Goings expressed similar bewilderment, saying that the tragedy seems like it came out of nowhere, emphasizing that the family stayed connected primarily through social media, and that everything posted about the couple was nothing but good things. Melissa Mattis, a neighbor who had observed the couple over time, reflected on the tragedy with a sobering observation that should make all of us pause and consider. You never really know from the outside looking in what's going on behind closed doors in anyone's life, no matter how perfect things might appear on the surface. But here's where the story takes a particularly haunting turn that reveals potential warning signs that only became clear with the devastating clarity of hindsight. While the family insists there were no obvious red flags, deeper analysis of Teresa's YouTube content reveals subtle hints that something may have been troubling her in the months leading up to her death. In some of her later videos, Teresa made passing mentions of experiencing ups and downs in life, referenced struggles with depression and anxiety, and even mentioned having intrusive thoughts about death, though she clarified that these were not suicidal thoughts. Additionally, observers noted that Teresa's video uploads had slowed significantly from her previous consistent weekly schedule to sporadic, infrequent posts, with her final upload appearing 2 weeks before the tragedy and focusing on spring fashion trends. Notably, this last video did not feature Christopher, who had appeared silently in a December 2024 video. Was this absence meaningful, or was it simply a coincidence? Christopher's social media presence also revealed frustrations related to his construction business, particularly regarding industry challenges like housing shortages, rising costs, and labor issues. While these stressors were typical for his industry and didn't indicate any financial crisis or business failure, they do suggest that he may have been carrying more pressure and anxiety than he was letting on to his family and friends who believed everything was fine. The family held separate funeral services due to the circumstances of the deaths. Teresa's public viewing took place on March 29, 2025 at Trice Funeral Home in Fuqua, Varina, where friends, family, and community members gathered to pay their respects to a woman who had touched so many lives with her warmth and kindness. Her funeral service was held the following day, March 30, 2025, at Poplar Springs Christian Church in Raleigh, with burial on March 31st at Carolina Biblical Gardens in Garner, where she was laid to rest surrounded by the love of those who cherished her memory. On June 29, 2025, what would have been Teresa's 55th birthday, family members gathered at her grave for a memorial celebration where they sang, danced, and wore her favorite colors, choosing to honor her vibrant spirit and celebrate the life she lived rather than focusing solely on the tragedy of how it ended. What do you think about this case? Let me know in the comment section. Click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this.